Hi. In this video, we're going to talk about how to report data to different types of audiences. Most data journalism materials these days are going to appear on the internet, which means they're also going to appear on social media. And many times they're also included in print form to important decision makers, policymakers, and key informants. So the bottom line is to include as much precision and accuracy as possible while still getting your point across. And this varies a lot. If you have 140 characters, you can say a lot less than if you can write a nice long form article that will appear online. And this is kind of the critical thing. When preparing a data piece, a data journalism piece, you need to create it in layers. And you need to create a long form layer, a mid form layer, a short form layer, and a tiny layer. You know, when you're working with photographs and you have the full size photograph, and then you have the cropped size, and then you have the optimized for web, and then you have the thumbnail, but all of those photographs look like the photograph. You need to do that with your data journalism story. And this takes time and requires care because as your story gets shorter and truncated, it's much more likely that you'll lose accuracy, that you'll lose key parts. So it's good to run a lot of different sort of prototypes and make sure that you retain as much accuracy as possible. So the first thing you do is you write the big long piece that includes all the communications of uncertainty, that includes the entire data biography, that includes the strengths and weaknesses of your data, the choices you made in your analysis. You write that all out, the one long piece. And then you break it down into chunks based on key audiences. So if you're writing a piece that you're hoping is an advocacy piece that you want policymakers to see, you probably have about 90 seconds of their time. So you need to produce an impactful, immediate piece of data communication that also retains the key robustness. Then you also need to chunk it out and say, what can I say about this in 140 characters that's going to make sense and still be true? And then you need to chunk it out into sort of the mid-size. Say it gets picked up by a big media outlet and you're going to have much less space. What are you going to say in 3 paragraphs and 1 chart? So before going into any kind of publication, you need to chunk it out and then run it by people and see if they can still understand the true way that you're using the data. So we're going to maybe try this through an example. An example we're going to use is a ProPublica article on doctors and pharmaceutical companies and payment. ProPublica, of course, is well known for its very, very good use of data. It tells a story, it talks about the data problems, it refers to other details in the really, really long, big, giant article. Then it also, if you want to dig deeper, you can go to the hospital lookup level. So they have a really, really deep level that most people will never see, but you can get to. It's public. Then going out, this is how it's gone out in some of the tweets. Here's the official ProPublica tweet. This is what they've chosen to include. Then there's another ProPublica tweet that is still summarizing it, still trying to talk in modulated tones and express uncertainty as much as you can in 140 characters. And then the public starts to get hold of it, and we see some of the best practices in data going away, and then we get to the really bad part where somebody is kind of taking one cherry-picked data point and trumpeting it, not talking about uncertainty, not talking about the data limitations, not talking about the choices that were made in the analysis. So you can't control that, of course. What people do with your work on Twitter is not up to you, unfortunately. But you need to at least have some good, substantial communication pieces ready to go.